And YouTube, are we here? Are we alive? Let's see if we've got sound. Yeah, I think we have. Hello, people in the chat. We're back, I think.
Fingers crossed.
Let us know in the chat if you can. And we're just going to carry on anyway, just in case it is. Right. Welcome to the CoasterGen Show. Yeah, what were we? The award-nominated
unique start.
YouTube channel.
CoasterGen Show.
All good. Okay. Aaron, what I need you to do,
definitely no technical difficulties.
is jump into that last stream and tell everyone that we're over here. We're live. Hey, there we go. There we go. So today we are joined. Again, we are joined by Adam from Theme Park World Tour. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate your time, dude.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no worries, man. And we're joined by Sean from ParkSpill, Joe from Theme Park Insanity, and Mikhile. So yeah, hopefully we've got sound now. Be great. Be great if you guys could all smash like again as well. That'd be awesome. And subscribe if you haven't already as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, right, we're in.
All good.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Right. So, yeah, Adam, how have you been? With everything going on, how's the channel? How's everything basically?
Not too bad. Obviously, same boat as everyone else. Really, it's been a bit of a crazy year for everyone. I had a big trip planned to Europa Park. I'm sure a lot of people have got tales of not being able to do things. That was one thing I had to cancel quite early on, which was a shame. So we all denied the documentary about Europa Park that I was planning, but we'll put that one back.
2021, mate. 2021.
Yeah.
I won't go into too many details, but the pandemic basically meant my sort of real life job, if you like, became very, very busy, probably more busy than it normally would be. So that's kind of great. You know, great that I've got a job and doing okay, but from the theme park perspective, some of that stuff's had to go on the back burner, as it was. There's a lot of kind of bigger projects that I'm working on. Some of them will be quite big collaborations. As you know, I kind of try and do a lot of stuff with other enthusiasts, and the channel's very much built on that. I think from day one, kind of talking to the amazing theme park community, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I managed to get the Thought Park documentary out this year, which is something I've wanted to finish off for a long time. I was pleased to get that out in the spring, and then the world changed quite a lot. So. In a way, it's been kind of good for me. In a way, as I said, my job's been quite fruitful for it, and I've got to spend a lot more time with my daughter, which is cool.
That's cool.
Oh, there you go.
I'm itching to go to a park. The last proper park trip we had together, I think, was Dessington Annual Pass Holder Day.
Wow. So, have you been to many parks this year then?
No, not really. No, obviously there was a bit of a chance to go to a few in the summer. All I did after that, I think, was Thought Park Fright Nights.
Right.
And other than that, yeah, not really been able to get to many parks this year, which has been a bit of a shame. So taking stock of things, watching everyone else go out and have some fun, and making most of the parks while they're open, and trying to make some plans for next year, really.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
So like you said, the Europa Park documentary you had the idea of. Are you gonna do that next year? Or are you gonna just do it when you can, basically?
Not rebooked it yet, but yes. I would like to try.
That sounds interesting. That's a place that I've always. Have you been, Sean?
No. It was meant to. I was meant to be going this year as well, and so gutted that I couldn't go. So gutted. But yeah, we had a massive. Me and Joe had a massive Germany, Netherlands and Germany trip planned. But yeah. We managed to get out of the country at least, so we've got to be lucky be thankful for that, because most people didn't even get that. So
absolutely. I've been 2002.
Oh yeah, you did.
Oh,
you
really?
Been. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Yep.
You went with school, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, Silver Stars opening year. So yeah.
That's awesome. That would.
I didn't get that in school. What the hell?
Yeah, no.
German exchange, mate. German exchange. And I don't speak a word of German. So figure that one out.
Me and a guy called Jordan Daniels had to organise our own trips to Alton Towers. We had to ring the coach companies, get quotes, go to our farm tutor as well. Big shout out to Mr. Shepherd, best teacher ever.
Hey.
And and then he'd be like, okay, everyone get the money together and we're going. That's it. That's how it happened.
Our 12-year-old niece, last year, she went to Germany with a school, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to Phantasialand," and I was like, she had never heard of it, and I was like, "I've not even been." And what, you're going? And she went to town before. She hasn't even been on any Alton Towers coasters, and she went to Phantasialand, and I was just like, "What?"
You're just like, nah, you're taking me with you, yeah.
School trip to level now, apparently.
It's like, can I fit in that suitcase?
Just said, Tom from Riflix has just said, I got Phantasialand at school trip. It was awesome.
Wow.
What? My school was slacking, man.
I went to a bird sanctuary if we were lucky, you know?
Yeah. We went to an old people's home, we did. That was our school trip, old people's home.
No, I did get to go to Disneyland Paris, to be fair, with my French class in high school. So
I remember going to Chessington and riding.
Yeah. I got that in year 10 as well, so yeah.
yeah.
To be fair, that's the first time I ever went to Alton Towers was in year 8. So that was
same.
that was really good. That was really good. So that's still not Phantasialand, let's be honest.
No, it's not.
No, not quite, is it?
No. Speaking of Phantasialand, do you want to go through the Vault Coaster results that came through? From CoasterBot. I mean, it's an interesting. It's crazy. Like Taron was 10, was it? I just thought, let's talk about that while we're here. Vengeance was 1, and there was loads of.
I was actually slightly surprised that that this might sound weird because it's kind of like, why wouldn't it? But I was kind of surprised that Taron made the top 10 because I kind of felt like the sort of like cult following that it has kind of dissipated to some certain degree.
I see that.
Apparently not.
No, apparently not.
I'm super happy for it. Taron's my number 7 overall. So like,
yeah, I think this is the thing, though, isn't it? Like sometimes we can think like a cult following. It's just like. It is a cult following. Like there's no reason for it, but if something's like so loved, there normally is a reason for it. So it's one of them where because I love how when I'm on the show, Taron is always in there at some point. I get to talk about Taron. Taron. I should have my own segment, really, shouldn't I? Sure.
like a catchy jingle for it as well.
I just go
and I get to talk about Untamed as well because that's on the list as well in the top.
Me and Joe are just going to be quiet. We're just going to sit back, relax.
Yeah, I'm just going to shut up.
Talk. You guys talk about the top 10.
You guys put your feet up.
Nemesis got 50 on.
I have to talk about Taron because I watch every week and Sean gets his spot on Taron and I'm like, I've got to talk about it.
Oh, there you go.
We're at the point where you did a jingle for it. But anyway, to me, it was one of those coasters that when it was built, it was pretty unique. There's maybe a couple of rides out there. Maverick's maybe a good example of a coaster that goes that fast and that low to the ground and near miss elements and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought Taron did that so magically well. Will it be in that top 10 next year? Probably not. I get the feeling that the fact it's at 10 makes me think it is slipping down.
Yeah.
I feel like with the additions that we've got coming in 2021, it could,
Velocicoaster's going to knock it out of the park anyway, regardless, isn't it? So, with that on the headline, on the horizon, rather.
And
potentially we'll see.
Potentially take this with a pinch of salt, guys. But there's a rumor going around for the name of Wallaby Belgium's Intermin coaster will be Conda, as in Anna Conda, but not with the Anna bit. So it's just Conda, which makes sense because of the trains.
It does.
It's a really cool name. If someone's just come up with it so people like us will just talk about it on a theme park podcast, that's fine. Props.
It sounds like it's been robbed out of Busch Gardens Tampa's name book, but I like it.
Just a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah,
I like it.
Kind of does.
Yeah, but it's cool. I mean,
I like it. I like it, like you said, as a shortening of Anaconda. It's like a cool little nickname for it.
Like Conda. Let's go right Conda. Like it's cool, and the whole area with it as well. Like the whole, what is it like? Just like ruins or like some sort of jungle theme to it as well.
Yeah, like a
kind of makes sense to call it
like a Skull Island kind of vibe. It has.
Yeah,
it was Jamie that pointed that out to me.
Yeah, it does have that feel, and it looks like it from the sort of station building and everything as well. Very similar design. So,
what do you think that's going to rank next year?
That's going to be top 5.
That's a very good question.
That's going to be top 5. The hype for that is ridiculous.
I think that's what Adam was getting
especially among
Europeans
Europeans.
When he said I don't know if it's going to be if Taron's going to be in the top 10 anymore. Like it just speaks volumes to the amount of freaking coasters that are coming out next year. Like man, we're so lucky. Some of us are lucky more than others because obviously we're closer to some of the other rides, but like if you're in Florida right now, like seriously,
you guys are laughing.
Like, you guys are salivating at the opportunity to get on two potentially world-beating coasters next year.
If someone could on your social medias now, just put the link back out for the stream, the new stream link, because like that'd be cool, because I think people are going to be getting lost on the old link.
Yeah, already done that. So
yes, if you are just joining us, we did have a bit of technical difficulties at the start, but we've
we don't know.
Resolve it.
Yeah.
Will Steel Vengeance ever be topped off that list, and for how long will it remain there? Because it's in the right spot, in my opinion. Anyway, I do think it's the best coaster in the world.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to hear. I want to hear you.
Yeah,
Kyle talk about Steel Vengeance.
Go.
I'll let you go first, Adam.
Ding ding ding.
Just the whole RMC thing, right? Everyone loves this company, but rightly so. When you look at what that ride used to be, and obviously I'm lucky enough to have been to Cedar Point, and even lucky enough to talk to enthusiasts of the park, and a guy actually works there, and he grew up with the original ride. So there's people there that just loved it so much. There's documentaries about it, and for RMC to come in and do what they did to it.
Oh yeah,
and to put so much of the track back through the structure as well. That's the key thing to me.
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest selling point is obviously that interaction and those near misses, isn't it? That's kind of what really makes it what it is.
It is amazing. And I love everything about it. I love all the trains, the different names of the trains. You got Blackjack, which I ended up on more often.
Yeah. I do like that they named the trains.
Yeah, it's just a really cool. So little things, right? Sometimes loads of little things just make this big difference. And when the ride experience cool as well.
It's like Riva bus services around here. Name all their buses, like Brenda, Brenda, Irene.
So
just as thrilling as Steel Vengeance.
I'm gonna count the days that it takes me until the next time I hear Steel Vengeance compared to Arriva buses.
Yeah, right.
Next week then.
Only here on the CoasterGen Show.
And my first ride on Steel Vengeance was actually at night. We got to the park quite late.
Nice.
Wow.
Straight there off the plane. Straight to the park and straight into the queue for Steel Vengeance.
That's so weird because my first ride was a night ride.
Right. Weirdly, I met another British enthusiast outside of Steel Vengeance, Paul from Thrill Rides Photography, which is a bit strange.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
But the first drop, it was just phenomenal in the dark. That first drop is just something else. There's no other ride experience out there has made me feel like that.
I mean, Steel Vengeance is. Sorry, go on, Sean.
You go on.
I was going to say, Steel Vengeance is literally my top bucket list coaster to get on. So the fact that you and also Mikhile have already been on it, I'm so envious right now. I really am. I'm dying to get out there. I mean, that park is like a playground for enthusiasts. So it looks amazing. It really does.
It's like whenever any RMC is opened, is built. Everyone's like, will it top Steel Vengeance? It's like unless you can top the length of Steel Vengeance, surely it must be do you know what I mean? Like you can't with Iron Gwazi, it's like it doesn't matter if the whole thing beats the start of Steel Vengeance. Steel Vengeance still has the length, and that's what matters. I think sometimes is
that's so for me, right? I love Steel Vengeance. I love it to bits. It's such a batshit crazy ride. Yeah. But it is so much longer than every other RMC. So it's not as if other RMCs are short. They might be in comparison, but other RMCs aren't short. It's just Steel Vengeance is so much longer than others. So when you think about new additions and will it top Steel Vengeance, and then thinking Steel Vengeance is going to be better just because it's longer, it's got more airtime moments in it just because it's longer. It's kind of it kind of has an unfair advantage if you just look at it in that sense. And I don't know. I don't like to be so mindful of Steel Vengeance's length versus other coasters' length when I'm trying to see if any.
I think it's I know what you mean, but at the same time, you can only we can go okay, objectively, technically, it's better than Steel Vengeance, but the only thing you can really judge is when you're on the ride itself. And normally, if you're on a long ride, we've all been there, and we're like, we're still going.
Yeah.
Like,
but like, it's funny you mentioned that, just like how you feel on like when you're on the ride, because that's exactly why I have Lightning Rod ranked above it.
Yeah.
Because there are a certain few moments on Lightning Rod that like I won't say obliterate any moment on Steel Vengeance, but
you've said it, mate.
But
we did a video on it.
I've already done it.
But I did ride Steel Vengeance first, and I did have that moment of just like, what just happened?
Yeah,
like it did give me that moment, and then riding Lightning Rod after it, it was that just magnified, and especially on. We all know the moments of Lightning Rod, the quad down, the launch. Just
we know them, but we don't know what they feel like.
Yeah. And it's like,
I've heard of them.
Obviously, Lightning Rod's way shorter.
Lightning Rod?
Saw it on video. Yeah, just like the moments eclipse the moments on Steel Vengeance for me personally. That goes back to just what I prefer in coasters. Like Steel Vengeance has the quantity of moments, but not quite the aggression within those moments. For me personally,
I think the only way to really judge it is next year we all get our money together, helicopter from Dollywood. We can do them back to back.
Do it
in the same day.
That'd be quite
That'd be incredible.
That would be some like trip. That would be epic.
I just find Steel Vengeance quite relentless, and then I always want more from a coaster. I always want more. And you sort of get to the end of Steel Vengeance, and as Mikhile said, you're like, what the hell was that? Yeah. And then you get this funny and it's just like, oh my, even I was a bit like, okay, enough now. This is like, this is a bit much now. Come on.
Behave.
Enough of our time, really.
Interested Zadra's on that list as well. I'm not sure what position it's in, but
number's quite high.
It's second.
Second. So Mikhile, what I want to see if we get up to Energylandia is I want to see where you rank Zadra with Lightning Rod. Like that's gonna be interesting.
Because I feel like Zadra will give a much more speed centric kind of ride experience than the likes of Steel Vengeance would. So in my mind anyway, it's more comparable to Lightning Rod and then Iron Gwazi as well. Yeah, because definitely. I feel like those three focus more on speed rather than number of airtime moments and stuff. So yeah, we'll see.
It's crazy that the top three are all RMCs, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many RMCs on this list. Like, there's even things like, is it Storm?
How many are there in the top 10?
There's
Storm Chaser. What's it called? The RMC in the
Storm Chaser.
Yeah, Storm Chaser, right? The one with the inverted the barrel roll drop.
3.
Yeah,
it is that one. That was quite early on as well. Like, just CoasterBot just listed off like Harry just listed off so many RMCs at the top of that video. I was like,
there's five RMCs in the top 10.
That's crazy. That speaks volumes to just
our
reception of them, I suppose.
Fort Park, you listening?
Oh,
5 in the top 10.
You're all looking in the wrong part.
Yeah, I agree.
Where do you think that's going to happen then?
Oh, it'll be at Towers. BSW9 will be an RMC.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Where would you put it?
Do you think?
It will interact with Nemesis.
That'd be amazing.
Could you imagine?
I don't know about that, but I think it'll be in that area of the park, yeah.
I think, me and
Galactica
Joe have been saying,
Galactica's
car park, like down the back end, that area there towards.
I think if they can nail like a decent launch like Lightning Rod, there's more chance of it at Towers just because it won't have to go as high to gain the speed. But then it's like a lot of people like about RMCs is them like mental first drops. But we could have something complete. I think if it is at Alton Towers, we could expect something that RMC have never done before. Because that's
washing machine element. Let's do an RMC washing machine element.
What that even?
You're just like that
stuff.
Just dangling in your seat.
I can't believe that was so funny when the Smiler was being built. That was hilarious.
Oh god.
It's a hidden element. It's a washing machine. It's a Dyson.
Dyson Weapon 8.
But you just touched on something there, Sean, that we wanted to talk about, which is like launches and lift hills. Like, there's so many launch coasters now. Like, if you go back to the days of like, I don't know, like even like Oblivion time, you know, like the 90s and stuff. Like, it just wasn't a thing. Like, it really wasn't a thing.
Yeah, the technology, it wasn't reliant enough. Now we get to the point where launches can be like more, you know, even more reliant than like a lift hill.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've talked about it before, but I just think for parks, it's like a no-brainer for them. Like, they don't have to go ridiculously high anymore.
They don't have to have the space either.
You know, exactly. The space is, they can keep it low to the ground. They don't have to just be like, oh, let's make it huge. So it's, you know, don't get me wrong, I don't think lift hills are going anywhere, because they're a great, you know, they're their own thing in a way. You can't really replicate that feeling of going up a lift hill and you know, getting steadily higher and higher. Like, they won't go anywhere, but it's just nice that parks have the option to not have to like build a really, you know, dominating thing on the skyline anymore. So
yeah. And if it's, can you imagine like obviously SW90 kind of going back to that sort of like an RMC with a launch, but in the style of like Taron, with that sort of interaction and that sort of feel, with maybe like a unique element sort of thrown in there. I mean, that would just take it completely. Ooh. It really would.
Straight over the main Nemesis loop. And,
over
the extended queue line. Through
up down the edge, back down again.
Stall turn through the portal.
Just have the wooden structure covering Nemesis's loop. How much of an eyesore would that be?
Oh my! Well, it's pretty much what it is at the moment, isn't it? With the scaffolding being up and everything around the loop. Like, that's been up for a while, and you know, we talked about it last week, but I'm interested to see what's happening with Nemesis next year. It's not going anywhere.
Well,
I will say about launch coasters. Just I kind of think like the reason they're receiving such higher acclaim than they have before is because I feel like they've gotten to a point where they've been developed so creatively to the point where they don't have to rely on the launches for them to be special.
No.
So like you're gonna have like a launch coaster, but again going back to like the 90s and with like Superman the Escape in 96 or 97 when that was opened, that had, you know, sort of like, well, it some people were putting it in like the best in the world conversation, and it had that like global recognition because of how tall it was, and it was
Discovery Channel jumped on that.
Yeah. Oh my God, didn't they?
Like, this is zero gravity.
That was. But yeah, but with it being so tall, and it being the first coaster to touch 100 miles per hour and stuff, like it was such a massive thing on a global scale. Now, you know, you can throw like 2 or 3 launches on a coaster, and if it's not got something else to offer with it, it's not really hitting the same way. No. You know what I mean? Like, but if you look at the likes of, pardon me, like Taron, Pantheon, even Soaring with Dragon, all these different launch coasters that have creative elements and creative inversions in them, as well as
Helix,
some good launches. Helix as well. Helix has arguably got the best layout. I mean, this is up for debate. Like, arguably got the best layout on any coaster.
I can't wait to ride Helix. Seriously,
that's like top. That's like up here for me as well.
Yeah.
What was that, Adam?
I said, how have I not been on Helix? We need to sort that out. So I'll join your trip whenever.
More than welcome, man. More than welcome.
Absolutely. We all need to get that. I've not got it either. So like,
Is it even going to open next year? Like, there's a lot going on, isn't there, in that country right now, in Sweden? It's dead. It's strange. Like, my mate went out there, Ollie, if you're watching. He went out to work at a golf course over there for the season. And he got there just as our borders closed, basically. And he got there, he started his job, and he said it was just like nothing was going on. Like, and he came back literally, I don't know, he only just got back when he could get back. But he was like saying it's so strange. Like, coming back here, it's just different. And then over in Sweden, it was like seriously, there was nothing going on. Like,
well, as in, when you say nothing going on, as in nothing was open, or that
no, like seriously, like, there was,
yeah.
yeah.
There was no COVID. There was no like COVID measures or anything.
Yeah, it was like you could go out to bars, it could go.
Yeah, well,
you know,
I saw him on the news. Like we was like, I think a solid 3 weeks into lockdown, and there was a news thing on Sweden, and they were like, we're just carrying on. It's just a flu, and now it's like they are one of the most strictest now.
Yeah, and so I just hope for, and Liseberg building the new hotel and everything as well, which is incredible. It looks looking really cool, and to stay on the park there. I presume it's going to be a resort soon. It will.
That's where it's heading, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think Sweden are quite like they're a very wealthy country. Like they'll be okay. Ultimately, they will be okay. I don't know. I haven't looked at their books, but I'm guessing out of a lot of countries,
you haven't got that hookup yet.
Financial accountant for Sweden.
Yeah,
when he wins these awards, though.
Yeah.
Quite an easy park to get to, I think, by all accounts. So there's no.
I've heard it is, yeah.
I really hope they open next year. Like as soon as I know they're opening, I'm gone. Right. Like there's no stopping me, because Helix has been on my list to do. Like for those of you guys that don't know, I played cricket for the last like 15 years, and every weekend of my life has just been that. So next year I don't think I'm playing anymore. I won the trophy last year. The COVID league it was called. It was like the league's got.
I thought he was going to say the COVID trophy. I was like, imagine having
the league's got squashed down. It was like 5 teams versus 5 teams in each.
It's in the shape of the cell with all its little.
Yeah, we won. So I feel like I went back, did my bit, and now that's it now. So next year is literally theme park time,
hammering trips,
hammering trips, even little trips like down to Portland's Park, for example, like to Chesington, to even just Flamingo Land, like just places just at weekend. I've never really had the opportunity to go out there because I've always been so busy. So next year,
plenty of places to go for trips, and haven't
we?
Absolutely.
The photos, Marcus.
I've got money for anything else.
It's all theme parks, mate.
That's the
point. Marcus from Thrillwide, he was on last week. Do you see his photos of Tornado Springs?
Yes,
like very, very good. Like it's so like.
The
honestly,
station.
Portland's Park is they are one to watch. Like if they keep going down the way they're going, if they start going into like the thrill market at some point,
just grabbing into me out of nowhere, just like imagine.
Yeah, like just the attention to detail and everything.
When you love to see a new Gen Vekoma launch coaster over there.
That fit really nicely with the park, definitely. Be a bit more thrilling and also a bit more sort of still family kind of.
Yeah.
Be really cool.
I don't
know if they'd go full on balls to the wall with an in place.
I mean, you could just throw it through every other land that's there and just be like, coaster, there you go, thrills. Just don't go and visit Peppa Pig World. Like, when
But the thing is, the gyro thing they've got, that looks pretty good.
Yo,
like that looks
on par with Intamin, does that? It really does.
It looks so good. Cyclonator.
Yeah.
Cyclonator. Yeah, that's it. So that is like a different type of ride that they, even the spinny coaster isn't like, up to that. So
it looks like it's got an intense swing on it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
face melting swing. Reach the top and get ripped back down again.
I really need to do some of these new gen Vekoma models because obviously we've had Fly and then there's the STC models, but a lot of reports are saying like for what the layout looks like, they're not very forceful, but
I've heard that.
Not in a bad way, but like they're more like a junior version of like what you'd expect your standard invert to be for the STC anyway. So I think that if that is true, that would be a really good shout for like somewhere like Portland's Park if they were looking to get into that, start off in that thrill market, because it's not too much then, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah,
Energylandia of Southern England. Do you know what I mean?
Preferably Southern England, in all fairness.
How much
closer.
Does anybody know how much room for like expansion they have down there?
Apparently, they've got a lot.
I'd say quite a bit.
I was listening to Coaster Bot Rambles podcast, and Lawrence was on there, who's the marketing guy, and they were saying like that. I'm sure they mentioned they do have quite a bit of land to expand on. So
I need to check that out.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like if they're going down the route of, you know, really intensely themed areas, and there's one area that I can't remember the name of, to do with dinosaurs, maybe. Help me out with the name if you can remember it. But
Jurassic Park. No, it's not Jurassic.
But yeah, if they are going down that route with Tornado Springs, stuff like that, I'd love to see them do something with the area that their coaster Cobra, I think it's called, that sits in, because that's looking like
a little bit worse for wear.
Yeah, just like less detail in it than the rest of the park. I would love to see them do something to revamp that area.
I think it's fair to say that a lot of UK parks need to take a leaf out of their book and they need to do what they're doing with theming, because Tornado Springs are killing it, let's face it. And they're right down the south of England. We need something like that in the north. And if Towers and other parks start doing it on that scale, you've got an absolute winner. So
yeah, and I mean, we always say it, but Drayton needs something like that middle market at Drayton. It's begging for it. That park is begging for it. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna go on Google Earth after this. I'm gonna get a overlay of Drayton Manor, and I'm gonna throw in some rides on No Limits. And
you're gonna make a business plan, Luke.
Right, I'm gonna email them, and I'm gonna go, right, these are the coasters.
Drayton Manor.
5-year plan, yeah.
5-year plan for Drayton Manor. I'm gonna get on Planet Coaster and make it look all realistic. Now I'm okay. But I've got some ideas though. Like there's so much room, and to have the view as well where G-Force was around the area of the park.
Sticking an RMC Raptor, you know.
I don't even think you need that. Like.
It's interesting when Harry from Coaster when Harry from Coaster was on the show, he was talking about Phantasialand, saying how good they are, and he pointed out that a lot of Phantasialand areas have just been ripped out and then redone again, so they've been able to just do it from the ground up. And that's almost what Paulson's Park are doing, where they're just going into bits reskinning a few rides, but then adding some new additions. And then it's the best way to do it. So, somewhere like Paulson's Park could do that, and potentially Drayton Manor could do that as well, really. They've got some amazing rides there. They just need to have some better supporting rides around it, really.
I would love to see an area for Maelstrom.
Yeah. Well, it almost is though. That's the thing. If you
if you add to it,
if you added to it, because if you go with Drayton Manor, obviously it's my home park, so I remember when it was built. But it's all around the area is all to do. You got Storm Force 10 next to Maelstrom, so it's all part of that sort of almost like Tornado Springs style in a way.
So it's a bit random, kind of sticking G-Force right in the middle.
Yeah, that was the worst call they ever made, because they're so good with theming. Even back in the 90s, they were ahead of the time in the UK for theming, and then they kind of just slipped when they put in G-Force, and then that was a massive hit on the financials, I think, and it stopped them doing a lot of stuff. Apparently they had a lot of plans just before the Splash Canyon, the thing what happened, the disaster. But that stopped all that as well. So but I'm hoping with this new takeover, there's going to be some more investment in there. I hope that happens anyway.
Next couple of years, hope so. I hope something happens.
So Adam, is sorry, just go back to Paulton's real quick. Is Paulton's Park a park that you grew up with? Coming up into.
It's funny, because I live in the south of England, but it still takes me about 8 hours to get to So I've only been once, but again, my daughter would absolutely love it there. Again, I can't remember the name of that whole dinosaur themed area, but
you know what? I'm going to have a look and try and find out.
Is it Land of the Lost or
something like that? Lost something or
Lost Kingdom.
That's Kingdom. The one. That's the
Lost
one.
Kingdom. Yep.
Yeah.
It's easy when you know, isn't it?
I knew it was Lost something.
That's awesome there, and also a great thing about Poland. The characters, actors, stroke that they have walking around, they're always very, very good. They don't overdo it, but you'll always see someone around in some of those themed areas. But I agree, Cobra actually is a really good ride at the back of the park there. But you're right, that whole area of the park is just like a field. with
massive field.
Roller coaster, and you could, if you're going to theme up another area of that park, maybe that is where you start. And start developing that a little bit. But those pictures that came out from Marcus, that station, it just looks like a premium European park, doesn't it? We are all often robbed for over here, but it looks good.
It does.
Jamie said in the chat like a few minutes ago, just like they've got a lot of land, but lots of restrictions, and like because of being next to.
Stop building theme parks near forests.
It's because
next to New Forest.
It's the UK, isn't it? That's what it is. The problem we have with any parks in the UK is there's just too much restrictions on everything.
Yeah,
every wood is like 3,000 years old.
It's true, though.
Problem.
It's true
because
though.
all the theme parks are in the middle of nowhere, apart from Fort Park, that was just like, we'll just build this, just put it here, off a main road. It's like the most American park, like kind of park we have.
Well, it was all like it was like it was all wasteland, weren't it? It was
that's a quarry, wasn't it? It was
it was like no one would ever build there, so. That's kind of like they just took it over.
It just feels so random though. Like when you come from Staines and in like 2 minutes you're at the park. Like for me it's crazy because we've got all the way to Blackpool. And even when you get into Blackpool, it's still quite a bit of a journey into the pleasure beach. But like
it's awesome
compared to Towers.
It's awesome. I love it though because like they really do have one of the best views of a park in the country when you come out of the dome. Like it's such an amazing you're quite lucky to have that
in front of you.
We're very lucky to have some of those roller coasters at Thorpe Park. But I don't think space is their issue. I hear that you can only have a certain amount of rides at Thorpe Park, which might sound a bit weird, and I might be wrong about that, but someone spoke to me about that quite a while ago, and it was more a question of if you're going to build a new one, you've got to take one of them away.
That's okay. That's mad, that is, isn't it? Yeah.
Lock and sleep.
Yeah, I was going to say just bye-bye.
Just throw that one in there.
Get rid of some flat rides and watch everyone cry.
Yeah, Mr. Monkey's banana thing, whatever.
I mean, Merlin are already well on their way with getting rid of flat rides, aren't they? So.
I mean, they got a good track record for that.
Yeah, they really have, haven't they?
It's hard though, isn't it? Because you can't. The problem is now you can't. Like you used to be able to market flat rides really well, and it seems like people just. I mean, imagine the fact that Submission at Alton Towers had its own advert. Like that just wouldn't happen now, would it? I mean, it'd be interesting to see if Croc Drop has like a
advert. Is so good as well.
It will. It'll.
Think it will.
Advert. Yeah, definitely.
If they do,
you know what I've seen on Twitter?
Might have to run it by Crocs first, though.
When the Crocs drop.
I don't know if that's what you're about to reference.
Some people have said it looks more like an alligator. Like some people are actually genuinely kicking off about.
Oh, really?
Because it looks more like an alligator than a crocodile.
Yeah.
You serious?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a thing that I've seen. Like, there's a bit of a trend going on, like on social media. It's quite funny. Hey, Chris. Chris is in the chat.
Hey, dude. All right.
So,
ridiculous.
I love how Chris gets like a big welcome when he comes in the chat.
Oh, you know what? For that, I'm going to say hello to people in the chat.
You're going to say hello to everyone now.
Hello, Aaron. Hello, Behemoth. Behemoth. Wow, you've not been here for a while. Hello, Coaster Connections. We've got Tech Andrew, we've got Mikhile. Oh, of course, we've got Mikhile. We've got Coaster
Yeah, like that.
You like that one?
Did
you like that one? That was good. Though. We got Jamie and we got Aaron and other people who are watching but aren't talking. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Good evening, guys.
If you do have any questions for us,
stream and go in the chat.
If you've got any questions for us in the chat, or you want to just talk about some topics, just let us know in the chat and we'll pick them out as we go through. Joe's there as well. Harry Hazel, everyone's saying hello now. Hello guys. We don't do that enough. We used to do that all the time, like just say hello to everyone in the chat. We don't do that.
We get so engrossed in the chat. It's
crazy.
It's sometimes hard to break away from it.
Right. So, should we talk a little bit about the Mario Kart ride that we didn't discuss last week?
Yeah.
We talked about the land, how it looks so real, but we didn't even mention about.
I just completely ignored the best
the
ride
that's in
the area.
That's taken like 30 years to make or something.
Right,
It's
biggest
Mario.
question. The biggest question I have: can you make people slip on banana peels on the ride?
I was going to say, can you throw a banana?
Yeah. Can you fire turtle shells? Can you do what you do?
Well, what do we know anything about the ride system in general?
So
we know it's not trackless, is it? It's on a track. It's actually
it's on a track. What I know, or just like what I'm taking away from everything I've heard is that there's gonna be augmented reality glasses that you're gonna be wearing.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see like the boxes, the different things that you can throw at people and have thrown at you and stuff from Mario Kart games, and you're going to be able to throw like shells and banana peels and different weapons and stuff at other cars, whether or not that makes like cars rotate, maybe.
I kind of like spin on the spot or something.
It'd be wicked
off of triggers and stuff. Remains to I don't know that, but
I can see that working.
If you can, that's insane.
It's like augmented reality, isn't it? They have the Switch. The Switch now has Mario Kart, where you can. I think Linus did a video on it where they like tried to run Mario Kart in their studio with like 9 different computers or something stupid like that, with like loads of webcams. But you could actually literally fire at people and overtake people on a real. It was like Micro Machines, but Mario Kart, but real. And then it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. But they could use all the powers. They could overtake each other, and you would have the flags. You would have the corners where you turn as well. So maybe it's just one massive room with the corners and the track. Maybe the tracks can change. Maybe the layouts can change.
Well, like
that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Techno Andrew in the chat has just said, where's he just said? He just said
the rides.
Yeah, it was talked about a preview at IAPA a few years ago, and from like I think I remember when that was talked about as well. So like it's sort of like the track is sitting below a platform, and then it's like the train sits on a bus bar, which is obviously connected to the chassis, which will be on the track, and then there's like a sort of like
Sean,
platform
do you remember when you said
above the track that you can't see. So like
talking manual, you know.
Mikhile just pulls out the parts manual in a minute. Like screw 765.
Technical section.
I've got the operations procedures in my drawer here.
It's going to be interesting. It really is. I can't wait to see.
So I'm looking at a picture of it here, and it looks like it's like a really thin, like what's connecting it to the track. So I reckon it could have a good chance of spinning. Like if that could spin,
probably
free spinning.
Yeah. I think
that'd be so good. I'm sure, and that is like one of the main things of Mario Kart. So
you spin and drift.
If they're saying like it's
your drift boost, you've got to be able to drift boost.
Yeah. Then I reckon this is gonna surely
it's gonna be so good. I don't know about you guys, but I was obsessed with Mario Kart as a kid. Like all the way
I'm
from
still obsessed with it now.
All the way from Mario Kart 60, all the way from Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube, and now Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch.
Yeah, it's like the only thing I play on the Switch now. Like
I need a Switch so bad. I was gonna buy one. The first time I went to Vegas, I was like, I need a Switch for the plane, like as you do. But back then,
they're so good for journeys.
I was just like, oh, you know what? And then I didn't end up getting one, but they're cheap now, so I might pick one up.
There's the Switch Lite as well.
Yeah.
Or just like.
I've got the Switch Lite just for like journeys and stuff. I don't need it with the controller and stuff.
But like for me personally, like a Mario Kart themed theme park ride is probably the one kind of like IP based ride that I've just wanted to be a real thing more so than anything else.
That and a good Sonic ride.
Look at that in the chat, in the Zoom chat, like that Pinterest. This isn't the same ride system, but there's already a place in Japan that actually does this type of movement. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be something like that. I've heard.
I can imagine that, like something like that potentially working. That'd be so good, man.
But on just a much more grand scale.
So Adam, I watched your documentary on the progression of theme park games that you did.
All right, yeah.
So I just thought we'd just touch on it just a little bit, because we're all quite into our theme park games here, like especially like back in the day with theme park and Roller Coaster Tycoon. For me personally, I was one of them that got on the Tycoon hype pretty early and the No Limits hype pretty early. But when Theme Park World came out, that was kind of my introduction to it back then. But you used to work in a game shop, if that's right.
That's a bad one to start on.
Yeah, it is. It's a
yeah,
really
that
bad
is.
one.
How have you become the amazing theme park gamer that you are?
Well, the thing is, I used to make log flumes ride like real coasters, because they're the only things that used to move like real coasters on them. And I'd be like, yeah, great.
Yeah,
that's a drop.
did any of you ride the original theme park game on PlayStation?
Yeah, I did go back and like it was such a good game. Like,
the only one at the time you could actually like have POVs of your own rides on. I think that's kind of why everybody kind of went to that, because obviously Roller Coaster Tycoon didn't do it's all Roller Coaster Tycoon free, so it's they were quite behind the trend on that one.
But it shows my age a bit, but this is going back to a time, as Luke said, where I worked in a video game shop, and this is a time before the internet, where you just have to wait for a magazine.
Oh,
I remember that days. Demo 1.
I remember.
Yes.
I also remember dial-up as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
I've got enough trouble for
Get off the phone.
yeah.
Was there a phone line going around the house, Adam? Don't know why you're phoning. No idea, Mum.
Yeah.
So kind of we waited for that theme park game for a long time. It was like, when's this game coming out? And I just started, I suppose, to really get into theme parks. But those games, theme park and Roller Coaster Tycoon, almost, I suppose, made me much more of an enthusiast than I ever
definitely
was going to be at quite a young age. I can't. Which is it? Roller Coaster Tycoon that has the 4-word from John Wardley, or is it theme park?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It was Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I think it was Tycoon.
And that was definitely a point where I became much more aware of him.
Yes.
And the rides that he'd made, and that kind of in
definitely
about 20 years later for me to do anything about it. But that was kind of, that's where a lot of that stuff started really, and came from. And I wish I was a bit better at Planet Coaster and stuff. I play it a lot. My daughter plays it with me now, and I rattle through the scenarios. But I'm almost too embarrassed to put anything on the channel, because I feel like people are so good at it, and when I look at the content creators and what they can do,
I know what you mean.
A bit like I could do a comedy one. Like I filmed a couple of this is how bad I am at it. I'm not sure that's going to fly. So we might not see any content like that on my channel. But I people like all those games, and I play them all the time. I've had Theme Park Blanco for a long time, and I've now got it on the Xbox and literally just started again.
I've literally just got my 4.5-year-old son's obsessed with it. So
he's obsessed with coasters and rides.
He's massive. He's like a mini. Well, it is a mini me, but we've just literally got him on console for Christmas. So he's gonna lose his. When he actually sees it, he really is.
I wish.
There we go. Yeah.
He's gonna have like 100 creds before he hits 10, isn't he?
Oh yeah, easy. Especially with me as his dad, anyway. So
exactly.
I believe it when I first showed her. You've got to put yourself into the mind of a child. When I first showed her Planet Coaster and what you could do, obviously this is coming the back of a couple of years of taking her to parks. And I showed her this thing, and she just couldn't even believe it that you could do this.
Yeah.
I can imagine, because I was obsessed with, when I was younger, we only really went to Drayton Manor and Great Yarmouth, but I was obsessed with theme parks, so I read about them all the time. And I remember just being introduced. I had the theme park world like that a little bit, but then my mate showed me Roller Coaster Tycoon 1, and that blew my mind. And I was just like, this is like, I didn't even have a PC at the time. So I bought a copy.
That's the reason I got a PC when I was younger. That is the reason.
Yeah, I literally bought the actual just the game from the shop, and then I'd go to all my different mates' houses and use their PC
That's what I did. Me and my mate Kyle. Me and my mate Kyle at school, we'd go school. It was a shy high school, I think, or just the start of high school, and we'd be like, everyone would be out playing football and that, and we'd be like, nah, we're gonna get on the thingy Roller Coaster Tycoon and build some rides. Like it was just one of them things. It was just so cool to do. Mate, when I discovered No Limits, my head exploded.
Bro.
When I discovered No Limits 1, my head was just like, wait, this is industry standard technology.
I could not believe it.
And when I finally got the pro version, I was mate, it was like a dream come true, because I'd go to Towers or Blackpool, I'd come home and I'd be like, right, let's build a big one, and let's try and build it and fail miserably. But like just being able to do that, it's like theme parks lacked that game that like football had, like cricket had, like basketball had. They never had that theme park game. And when Tycoon came out, I think that was the one after theme park, because everything else after that was not very good.
It was I remember when Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 come out, and that was the new kind of completely new look. You know, there's a lot of faults in it, but I still think it was a solid game. It's but in terms of like, because I was always, this is how where me and you differ, Luke. Like for me, building the coasters is kind of like it's a pain in the arse for me. I want to just get it over and done with as quick as possible and get them with a theme in, and like the paving and the buildings. Like that's actually what I love. I'd
love it more if Planet Coaster Pass system was better. Just saying.
Yeah, but you get used to it though, don't you? You get used to it after a while. You get used to that janky. I can't wait until they do the new. Hopefully, if they do Planco 2, because the pass system for like the Planet Zoo is so much better. Like so much better. So I can't wait for that to happen. But yeah, basically, when I get back into Planco again, because I've got like hundreds and hundreds of hours on it, but I'm beginner level. That's how long it takes to get good at that game.
I would agree. I'm the same as you. I'm like, I want to be able to build these amazing rides. I'm actually trying to build one at the moment as part of an answer for a Q&A video that we're doing, which was all Cassie's idea. So she's doing all the theming, but I've had to build this roller coaster. And like, yeah, about 2 hours last night trying to resemble some sort of a ride versus the drawing that she did. Finally get it around the bloody track. It's like, right, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Mine just goes so fast playing that game. It's unbelievable, doesn't it? Like, it just slips away.
Right.
But there've been some shocking theme park games as well. I wouldn't say shocking, but there's been like old systems. There's one on that video system called the Vectrex, which is one I never had.
Oh wow!
Which just looks like it's kind of almost like one of those old school MB games where you like the binoculars and the graphics.
That's crazy.
And one called Scream Ride, I think, which was a console one, which was moderately successful, but they're not like nothing like Planco or Tycoon, where you kind of.
Would you say?
I have another one.
I think you guys may have played Parkitect more than I have. I haven't.
Parkitect's great, man. So like, good. And would you say
it's like filled the little gap that that Roller Coaster Tycoon left?
Yeah,
they definitely spotted a gap in the market, because Tycoon.
It looks like on that same kind of vibe in terms of theme park games. But maybe done a little better. Maybe executed a little better.
Yeah, at the same time, it's one of them where it's its own thing more than it is Tycoon.
It's not like intense realism, like No Limits.
It's like perfectly.
But it does though. You can build a really good coaster on Parkitect. Like
the strategy system side of it as well is so good. Like to get the stock, like doing the stock and everything, you have to like build, but you have to build a behind the scenes like infrastructure and stuff, which is really cool.
Like backstage areas and stuff.
Like proper backstage areas.
But not just like.
Go on, man.
No, go on.
Okay, I'll go.
One of you go.
But no, it's like even to the fact that like if the guests can see like behind the stage, like you get negative points for it, so you have to like really like hide it as well away from the guests, like you would in the park, which is like really nice little touch like that. But it's just perfectly in between like Tycoon and Planco. I think it's like it's not as time consuming. But then it's like you watch Silverette do some of his like theming.
Don't watch Silverette; it makes you poorly.
It's
too good.
But you realise
Silverette makes it damn near breaking the law to make anything just average.
You see what he can do. You can see what he can do in Parkitect, and you're like, that is ridiculous. I didn't.
Yeah,
think, you know what I mean?
I just don't understand like how he does it. Seriously, when Planet Coaster came out, I was one of them that was like him at the time. I was like, oh, you can use this piece to do this, and I still do that a lot in a lot of games. Like I've done it in No Limits, Burrout, all my YouTube videos, there are pieces in my No Limits creations that shouldn't be there, but they are. Like, for example, using concrete blocks for footers in some spots that just people use to build buildings with. Like, just kind of things like that. But to see how far I think he on his own, well, not on his own, but with a lot of high-grade people who use Planet Coaster, push the developers of Planet Coaster to go, all right, we need these pieces, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. They've got to a point now, though, where they're starting to annoy me a little bit, because they could have, okay, they've been doing the console, and that's great.
You talking about the developers?
Yeah, the developers of Planet Coaster, right? I understand, get the game out on console, get more people involved, create more enthusiasts. That's fantastic. I love that. Absolutely love that. Don't forget about the PC, though. You know, like, we without the PC Planet Coaster, there wouldn't be a console Planet Coaster. So don't be making new add-on packs for the console and then not doing anything for the PC. Don't be making new rides and not doing anything for the PC. Because at the end of the day, the PC players are going to be the ones to first buy Planet Coaster 2 if you ever make it.
I think, but I also think
and Jurassic Park.
I also think it's I think it's a positive though, because if it's that popular, if it proves you that popular, there'll be a reason for them to make a number 2.
Yes.
So it's one of them where it's like you understand they're going to push the whole add-ons and stuff for the console, but it seems like it's selling really well for them. So
it's
I think
doing great.
As long as they can, who are the makers again of it?
Frontier Development.
Yeah. As long as they can justify going, we're going to put this team, we're going to create our own team for Planco 2 now, rather than just having a small team to make
all it needs, Planet Coaster 2, for me, if they released an update for Planet Coaster now, as it is, with continuous roll for the rail system that's in the game, it would pretty much destroy anything that's out there for coaster building right now. Because that's all it needs. It needs that realistic camera on the front. It needs the feel of No Limits, but it doesn't have to actually be as intense as No Limits in terms of how in depth you can go.
Yeah.
But we need continuous roll, on the track. It's that simple. You need to be able to turn a train upside down without making it look like a 90s Arrow coaster, just going that. It needs to go.
That's the one thing I said about the coaster builder earlier.
It's so annoying. And the smooth tool that needs help. So the coaster builder is the only thing in Planet Coaster that
I love that link. The smooth tool.
It needs it. Like, seriously, I'm not the only one thinking this. This is a problem.
No, you're
worldwide
true.
problem.
It's so true, because it's why I don't even enjoy building the coasters, because you can spend so long trying to make something realistic, and it's never going to be realistic. But that's why, like I say, for me, it's just being able to make being able to make dark rides like you can on Planet Coasters. So cool.
That's something that needs more attention going forward, though. There needs to be more facility in terms of theming, in terms of certain things you can do with it to make it a bit more in depth. Because they've kind of got there, as you say, without that continuous roll. They've almost got there with the coasters. So maybe
close.
Exactly. So maybe now, the focus is more maybe dark rides and what you can do with those and theatrics and everything else.
Because have they got what's it called? Is it Theme Makers Workshop or
Theme Makers Toolkit? You can upload your own.
Okay, have they got that version for console? I'm guessing not, because that wouldn't work, would it?
I don't think so. No, I think it's through Steam.
That was a game changer when that come out, because that was just like suddenly it had all these different pieces.
Wait, so there isn't a workshop on console?
I don't think so.
But
I don't know.
I don't know how it would work, really.
Let us know in the chat.
I don't think. It would be good if they could, because honestly, I love just making little smoking areas for the staff, or little tiny little.
I'd like for the Theme Makers Toolkit areas to not absolutely ruin your FPS, though.
Well, that's another problem.
That being said, for me, it's just like being able to run the game without it basically overheating 90% of PCs.
Yeah, that is a problem. But the thing is, though, you've got to remember, when Roller Coaster Tycoon first came out, it did the same to the PCs then than what Planet Coaster is doing now to the PCs. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the problem with PC games is that you get left in the dust so easily, like with any game. If I tried to run Cyberpunk now on my PC, I would struggle.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, Cyberpunk. Sorry, I
Yeah,
thought you meant.
I would struggle.
That looks
like,
cool, by the way. That looks so cool.
And that's the thing. Like, that's the thing with PC gaming. But with
They don't even know how to optimize games anymore. Like when I downloaded Warzone, oh my gosh, man, like 280 gigabytes. Like it was just ridiculous.
It's
like
crazy.
I'm like, you should give me like an actual like free SSD when buying this game. Like,
yeah, it should come on an SSD. maybe that's how the non-digital versions of games are going to arrive. Like if they gave me a 500 gigabyte version of Planet Coaster with everything that I've ever dreamed of, then sure. Like that would make sense. But what Mikhile's saying though is like a lot of people who are playing it on console now, I think, are the people who can't run it on PC. So
probably
it's not maybe
well,
brand
that's
new.
That's going to be me. So
prime example, Joe. Yeah, and it's
I can sort of. I mean, I can sort of run it, and it does run to a degree. I could probably build about 5 rides, and then everything starts to go. But with the console, it's going to be a completely different game. You know, it's going to be a case of I'm going to be able to play it, and the camera actually moves the way it's supposed to move, rather than jittering everywhere.
I wonder. So, how have they? Does anyone who's technical here know how they've made it be able to run like decent on? Is it decent on console?
There's a build limit, basically.
There's a build limit. You can only build so many pieces. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
And then they've dropped the quality substantially throughout, and they've dropped the texture levels as well on the actual rails and people and all that stuff.
It's got a more console feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So then that must have been like really in depth, because obviously like when I was playing on my old computer, I would just drop it down to low when I started getting to a big park, but it would still like have to work really, really hard.
I would say even on the newer consoles, it's probably only running at medium. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near high or ultra.
CoasterGen just said that there's loads of bugs with the console version.
Yeah, there's loads of bugs.
Like
I've heard that the UI. I've heard that the UI, so the user interface, is better on the console. It's easier. It's easier to find things. Management side of the game, I've heard it's quite easy to select staff and work with. Adam, have you noticed that? Because obviously you play it on the console.
It's a real tricky one, you know. You're right in that actually that side of it is a bit easier. It is just a quick couple of movements to employ staff and that sort of thing. But the trouble is, like, because I obviously had the PC version the day it came out, and lucky enough to have a computer.
I don't want to get the console version, but I do as well. I want to see what it's like.
It's like
come play mine after Christmas, man. Come round to mine after Christmas.
I'm going to it for the kick and for the achievement points that I'll get on Xbox. But I'm already like, I find myself longing to want to play the PC version. And I went back to the PC version to create the one for this Q&A because I thought it'd be easier. Because it is a bit, I'm finding it harder, just moving the camera around to build a coaster. A little bit of a pain. But yeah, some of the functions like changing all the shop stuff, the prices, all that stuff's probably easier, maybe arguably easier than the PC.
So do you play it on Xbox or do you play it on PlayStation then?
Xbox,
yeah, that's what I've got. So yeah, interesting.
I'm going to make another comment because I've been trying to download Cyberpunk today on my Xbox, which I finally got installed.
Oh, have you done it? Yeah, you did it.
I need to play that game.
I can't believe you messaged me and you was like, "It's 2 discs." I'm trying to install 2 discs, and like I've never heard of a game installed 2 discs since like Final Fantasy. You know, like
I remember. Does anyone remember when DVDs first come out, and yet some of them you had to flip the DVD over?
Yeah.
I don't even have a disc drive anymore. Even in my PC, I don't have one. Like crazy.
Yeah, neither do I.
But anyway,
exactly.
You buy a new game these days and you're all excited Friday night off work or whatever. And you put it in and 4 hours later, it might have finally downloaded.
Yeah, I remember
loaded up,
going to Tesco and queuing up for GTA 5 when it first came out. Took it home. It was like, update. I was like, oh.
I've just literally finished installing Dead Rising 4, so I'm going to be hammering that after this.
Nice.
Can't wait for that.
Oh, Red Dead was it a 2 disc?
Yeah, Red Dead was 2 discs.
Okay, so I haven't seen the 2 discs since Red Dead because actually, no, I didn't even have the discs. I bought an Xbox secondhand from CEX. There's a little thing for you guys, right?
I've just got. Give me a break. Well, give me 1 minute.
Yeah. Go on. And the console was still linked to someone's account through the serial of the console. Every month, this person who it was linked to bought the newest game. On my Xbox, the library filled up every month with the newest game. That is...
Oh, wow.
That's ace.
I had Red Dead, FIFA, Madden, NBA 2K, like everything just lined up in a row for like the last 3 years. And sadly, I think they cottoned onto it, and that was the end of that. But so if I still had that console today, it would have Cyberpunk on it without a shadow of a doubt.
That's bad of CEX. They should be.
They should have proper like erased it. Yeah, but they didn't. It didn't have an account on it though, so I just signed in with a new account, and it just linked it to the Xbox. Like I was like, sick. It was so cool. But I think Planet Coaster for the console, it's really good for people who can't run the game on PC, and like Dan saying in the chat. Oh, congratulations, Dan, by the way, on for getting nominated for best podcast, dude. Well done. It's awesome. Off the tracks. Cool
One
stuff.
now Saturday night. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, Joe's on there Saturday night.
So if anybody wants to come and join me,
plug.
Another little cheeky plug as well. Going back to the console edition, if you do want to know kind of the gist of how it does differ mainly from PC to console, I've actually written a full article on the website too. So have a read.
Check that out. All right. Okay. So let's leave gaming behind, and let's move on swiftly to one of the things I want to talk about with Adam. And that is your webisode episodes with John Wardley. Now, that series was like, it was what I'd been asking for many years, to hear all John's stories. And so how did it come about? Like,
the first reason is because I wanted to hear that stuff as well, and no one had done it, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of a big.
The only time you would hear stuff like that would be at like a Towers Times event, or a special event at Towers behind the scenes or something like.
No, I suppose it's kind of, I don't know. I don't want to bore you with like how the channel came to be. There's kind of long and short version of that. The short version is I wanted to paint my girlfriend's house. She was having none of it, so I had to find something to do with my time. The longer version's a bit different in that I actually lost my parents, both my parents, within fairly short.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Fairly short space time of each other, and decided to take a bit of a break from my career. And theme parks have just always been this thing that I'd been fascinated in, and started thinking, God, I had this idea when I was a kid. My mum bought me a video camera when I was a kid, and I told her that I'd make I came back from Alton Towers really excited when I was about 14, going, Mum, I'm going to make a film one day. I'm going to make a documentary one day about Alton Towers. And subconsciously, I just think this idea was in my head somewhere, and I started thinking about that, and like, could that actually be something I could try and do? I don't really have, as I said, I've worked in the film industry for a long time, but never actually held a camera. I did a bit of stuff at university, some media production, but never actually picked a camera up until sort of 4 years ago when I started doing the channel. Mm-hmm. And I just, like, when I started researching, could I do this? How could I do it? Stumbling across, I mean, it's even crazier now because there's so many more channels. But even back 4 or 5 years ago, stumbling across all these theme park channels and all this different content, it absolutely blew my mind. YouTube just in general blows my mind still all the time.
Yeah.
But to see so many people with just such a passion creating different things was just like, wow, okay, there is maybe a way of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really want to review a hot dog. I still say, if you ever see me reviewing a hot dog on my channel, you have permission to kick me. I just always thought there's, everyone's got a little different thing that they do or whatever, and that was just, I kind of want to do something different. So rightly or wrongly, I suppose, I had this kind of slight documentary approach, was really interested in people's opinions about rides. And that also led obviously to the people that made them. As I said, I played that Roller Coaster Tycoon game as a kid and found out a bit about John Wardley. He was building those rides when I was a teenager and going to Alton Towers for the first time. Excuse me. And so I actually wrote to John, told him a little bit about my childhood and how those rides had really influenced me. I think the first time I went to Alton Towers, they were building Oblivion, doing the first, just building Oblivion that summer.
Wow.
And it was just, I can't explain to you. I'll never be able to explain to anyone what that was like. You see that documentary, it screams thrills and I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Someone say it. Screams, dreams and thrill machines.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That was a massive inspiration to me, and I kind of wanted to try, I suppose, make an updated version of that.
Yeah.
John and I talked a bit. Yeah, as I said, I talked to him a bit about my childhood and how much he meant to me, and he very, very kindly arranged a date for me to go and visit him. And we had a good chat for an hour and a cup of coffee, and then I turned the camera on, and he was very, very nice to answer some questions for me. So a lot of that is in The Tale of the Towers, which was sort of my first attempt at a film, a documentary of some sort. I look back at it now and think I'd do it very, very differently with the things I've learned about cameras and production, and even about running, social media channels and stuff. I would do it very differently, but I still think, people quite love the fact that it's this fanboy documentary, and I think the interview with him at least is as professional as I could do it at the time, with the resources I had available. And just amazing, really. Like, they say you should never meet your heroes, and maybe in some cases that's true, but it was an honor to meet him, and he was a delight, and I've still stayed in touch with him now. I think he loved we were talking about a little bit before we came on about content creation, and he loved the slow-mos of all his coasters, right? You've got to remember that they're his rides.
Definitely.
Disagree, but as far as I'm concerned, they're all his rides.
Yeah,
he loved seeing that. I think he was more than happy to kind of to help me out. And I'm glad I still get messages all the time. I get comments on those videos, and the fact they mean something to people is wicked. And my real hope is that young people watch it who want to either be engineers, or they want to work in theatre production, or they want to work in the themed entertainment industry in some capacity. He grew up doing special effects before he was doing theme parks. He worked on James Bond film and stuff.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
He worked in the theatre and
Rocky Horror. He worked on that, didn't he?
It's unbelievable. Yeah. So that's kind of how I suppose that came about. I was very lucky. I think he gets a lot of requests from professional people, from other vloggers and whatever, and I'm not sure he does that much anymore. But
no, he doesn't. I think I heard someone say, can you come on my podcast? And he turned around and said, well, if I go on your podcast, I've got to go on everyone's podcasts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he said to you, Joe?
Yes, it is.
That's
exactly what I said to me. Yeah,
and I can imagine because he must get it. Like,
that's fair. That's totally
it's crazy. The things that he does do. I think was it last year he was at Towers outside.
That's where I met him for the first time. And you know what? I said it before, but I think I said it on the show before. But honestly, like, I was so nervous meeting him. But as soon as I met him, like, I don't really get nervous, but I don't know. I was like, this guy, like, it's been part of my childhood. Like, I've seen him as like a god, like, literally.
Yeah.
And like, I
looked
up
anyone
to
you
him.
hold up to high esteem, you can you want to make the best impression you can, don't you?
That's what I mean. I was like,
you start overthinking it, and
I started overthinking it, and then as soon as I started chatting to him, he was just so easy to talk to, so down to earth. And I think the main thing was he didn't rush anyone. Like, I waited for like an hour and 20. But like, you could tell that he was just taking his time with every single person and actually chatting to him, and like, he asks you questions, which is mad,
Yeah.
And,
he loves the fact that so many people have been on these rides. He's very proud of the fact, if you look it up, tot it up statistically, everyone in Great Britain has effectively been on Nemesis at least once.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Stat, isn't it? That's a really great stat. But he's so proud of those rides, and they've stood the test of time,
And so it should be as well, because they are, iconic rides, not only in the UK, but in the industry as a whole.
Absolutely.
Without John Wardley, we just would not have the UK industry we have today. So it's a testament to that.
And he always says that it wasn't just him, it was a massive team, it was a team effort. But I mean,
it was, but he was the creative mind behind those rides and those layouts. So
absolutely.
His philosophy when it comes to like building a ride, whether it's a coaster or whatever, like it's his whole philosophy. It's like, it's more than just being like, it's gonna just be the most thrilling thing in the world. It's like this, everything is thought out about, like beginning, middle, and end. And, you know what I mean? It's I think we talked about it a few weeks ago as well. It's like, how many people are actually like that in the industry anymore? Like, there's amazing designers, don't get me wrong, but someone who has that much control over an entire project like that, creative control anyway. It's gonna, it's pretty sad that hopefully someone else
a notable one that just announced their retirement recently is Joe Rohde.
Yeah.
As well.
They don't retire, Mikhile. It's like they say they've retired.
Yeah, true.
Rubbish.
And like sit in the background,
Yeah, they don't really retire.
Just take a break for like 5 years, and then they'll jump on a massive project, and they'll be like,
No limits.
No limits will load up, and then that'll be it. Back in it. Do you need a new ride? Okay, let's go. Here's 65 designs I've done in the last 5 years. with all planning permission.
Yeah.
I think what I love about those, or if I had to put my finger on it, it's the backstory. And I said this to him, that's what I'd always loved about his rides. It's like you can have the most technologically advanced ride systems in the world and brand new B&M track and all this stuff, but it's what he does in the background, and that storytelling element that has been with him, I think, throughout his whole career. And I'm especially pleased, to be honest, that even though, you know, he only had a slight hand on Wicker Man,
that he did something.
That is like, it is a secret weapon. When I went, I was very lucky again to go to the press night of that, and that was the main question I had. It's like, to enthusiasts, do you feel it's worthy of being a secret weapon? Because it's a big thing to, once Alton Towers decide they're building a secret weapon, it's got to be right.
It has to have that oomph behind it, and it has to create that impression.
And I think Wicker Man does that. Not everyone agrees with me, but I think it does.
I do.
Love it, absolutely.
Yeah,
love it.
I think
it holds the same kind of DNA, the same kind of characteristics of it.
I love the fact, like, my daughter's quite scared in that pre-show, and as the years go on, she'll get braver and braver and braver. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a really cool thing. That's
it, dude. And that's what, like, I remember, and I guess a lot of us remember, is like that. It was kind of like in stages. Whether for me, I was never really scared of coasters, but I was scared of like ghost trains or like walkthroughs and pre-shows. Like, that's the thing that used to like scare me. And when you felt like you did it, and it's the same if you're scared of a coaster, you felt like you actually completed something, and it's just like a massive deal. And then it's like you say, each year you get that bit and bit braver, and it just makes you, I think, fall in love with, you know, a certain park or whatever. Even more.
I'm loving it with Toon Blaster at Chessington. So I used to take Cassie on that. We'd go around that. Should be like, meh. You know, a bit biased, but since my friend Nick's done the audio and vamped up a bit, we came out of that and she was terrified.
I was terrified, and I'm not even saying, just saying that. Like, honestly, the skeletons jump. I'm not going to tell you where it comes in, but I think he actually said on the show. But anyway, the skeletons, that got me good. That got me so good.
It's great for me now. Like, same thing. We're going to go back every year. She'll get a bit braver. And by the time she's gone near, she'll probably be doing stuff with her mates and won't want to go to a theme park with me anymore. But we'll see.
but I don't know. Like, so you've also recently went behind the scenes at HoloViz as well with that latest video that you've done. What was that like?
That was awesome. They're really nice guys, actually.
Yeah, they seem it from that video. They seem it.
Yeah, they're cool. And that was actually filmed quite a long time ago. But there's a few things, like, not obvious things actually, but in the background of that video, there's a few little things here and there in the workshops that I wasn't allowed to show.
Yeah.
So I waited a little bit before that one came out. And they've actually moved since that facility. I'm actually due back there, COVID depending, early next year to have a look at their new facility. But they're just absolute legends, man. The stuff they do is incredible. I don't know how much that video you watch, but obviously there's a lot of stuff outside the theme park industry. We're on this driving simulator thing, which sort of basically simulates you falling asleep at the wheel of a car.
Wow.
But that was pretty cool when you're talking about virtual reality or augmented reality. But you'd look down at the passenger seat and there'd be a mobile phone on it and stuff like that, and just loads of little things to distract you, and then simulates a rather nasty crash that apparently you can't avoid no matter how good you are at it.
Wow,
which is
that's crazy.
But they designed the Wicker Man pre-show, and they took us in their facility. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like you walk into this giant cube. They call it the cave. That's what they call it. So you get a 4-sided cave, but you can also get a 5-sided cave with the roof on. That's effectively how they start to design all this stuff. And we were there for 12 minutes, and I think our minds had been absolutely blown as we just stood in this middle of this thing, and we were literally like transported into the Wicker Man pre-show, even though we're in a field in the middle of nowhere. That's just
so crazy.
But they win a lot of awards, HoloViz, and they've got an international footprint. They do a lot of stuff for a lot of parks.
They do a lot of, like you said, a lot of stuff outside theme parks as well. Like, I think it was it the architectural piece? Was it Liverpool? I can't remember where it was. Yeah. Yes. It was, and did it inside the clock? Was it a clock tower or something like that? I can't remember what it was.
I should know these things I put in the video, but yeah, they did do a thing in Liverpool with the clock tower.
And then they like fully projected the room with loads of different. I want to see more of that. maybe not so much in the VR side of things in on rides and stuff, but I want to see more of the interaction pieces, like the pre-shows, like even just walkthroughs, kind of things like that. I want to see that more, because it really does add something to something that you would have to build. You don't have to build it if you can just project it onto something. It just makes so much sense, and I think from what I saw of that video, I really hope that people keep using them and keep pushing them, and they keep pushing themselves as well, because they do seem like a really cool company that's like trying to think ahead of the curve and what they can do. And I think that is the same mentality that a lot of coaster manufacturers at the moment now are all doing as well. Like, we're just trying to think, what's next? What can we do that is so different? How can we just create forces on people where it's not too much, but it's almost there. It's almost lightning rod-esque, but on like a wacky worm or something. Like they're thinking of like what can they do next? Like
world's first projection wacky worm.
What's that?
The world's first projection mapped wacky worm.
Yeah.
SW9 done. Everything else done on RMC and Nemesis interaction. It's all nonsense. That's the reality.
Could you imagine, Sean, just your $1 million dark ride, just all the queue line theming, all the pre-shows, multiple ride systems, and then the crescendo of it is just a wacky one.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Without the apple.
At least I can say it's the world's first. So
I know what you're saying about coasters and that technology, but I'd like to see more of it in scare mazes. Actually,
that's a good point.
That's an environment it work really well in as well, because you can really immerse people into that, can't you?
There are some where they touch on it, and you've got it. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I think there's a way of really going for it with that technology and having that all the way through a scare maze, and it actually being pretty terrifying.
I would be very interested in that. That would actually probably make me want to do a scare maze more.
Yeah,
I'm half expecting this kind of thinking with Black Mirror. It could be very disappointed, but I just feel like there might be this element in it, because it is a lot to do about technology. So if they don't implement this somehow, then I will be very surprised.
And the main selling point behind it as well, as Thorpe have clearly said a few times, is it's unlike any experience you've probably had before. It's very technological, so obviously that would make a lot of sense if they did include that element.
Yeah.
Let's
not talk about VR.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
cool. It's cool. So, other than obviously you had your Europa trip cancelled, Adam, what other big plans have you got coming up for the channel then? Anything you want to talk about? Or
hard, isn't it? It's hard because they're just like, we've talked so many different roller coasters. Just look at the Vote Coasters top 10. There's only 3 of them I've done, and I've actually been to quite a few big parks and been to some pretty cool places. You're just like, oh my god.
That's probably 3 more than you've got on me anyway, because I've probably got none of them. So
I'll give you one tiny little, I wouldn't say it's exclusive because no one cares that much, but I'm going to do the tale of Chessington.
Nice.
I'm slowly reaching out to some enthusiasts, including yourselves, to kind of be part of that one as well. So that's kind of up and running. I always like start with a script, see what sort of footage I can find. But I ended up going through Second World War records a couple of weeks ago, looking at Flight Lieutenant who owned Chessington at one point in time. And those are the things I absolutely love about it. There's even stuff that doesn't go in them, where, do you know what I mean? You stumble across some little things like that, which to some people might not be that interesting, but I kind of find it fascinating. Where
it can be the lesser known stuff that does grab people's attention that way, though, as well, because obviously that history can count just as much as any development in the park. There are people that do want to know that. So
there are funny things, like Thorpe was originally owned by the Ready Mix Concrete Group, RMC. Could have
RMC fought back 2020.
But I restrained myself for posterity.
That's what they're getting next year, just a massive monolith made by Ready Mix Concrete.
The concrete on tap's going to London Resort, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the concrete on tap's literally
concrete on tap. Yep.
We'll finish the Chessington one. See what happens at Europa Park. I'd love to do that, and we'll just see what happens. I'd love to do a little series of collaborations with other enthusiasts and talking to a few people about that.
Oh, I'm always here if you want
Sounds
some
good.
more collaboration with you guys. Who knows? I think
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
that could
Definitely,
be
man.
Quite exciting. Yeah.
Well, we're
So,
already
like,
in talks about something anyway, so we'll
We
keep
are
that.
indeed. Yeah, we'll keep that to ourselves.
So
I
Big project.
I also loved the Cedar Point documentary you did.
I was just about to bring that up.
I mean, that's
Man, I need to go there.
that did insanely well as well for your channel. But
Yeah.
I again, just with a lot of your things, like I love the vlogumentary style. Like it's very, very easy to watch. I like that.
I don't really, I'll be honest, I don't feel I've always necessarily got the charisma to do some of the stuff that the other channels might do. So I've kind of, found my own way of doing it and quite happy with that. And I would say, yeah, I'm very proud of the Cedar Point one. I felt it was a culmination of the things I'd learned, I suppose. Like, half the Alton Towers one shot on a GoPro, for God's sake. It's like, yeah, by the time I get to Cedar Point, I've actually got, a fairly decent camera and a gimbal, very heavy, carrying that around. And also it comes down to time, right? That, the Towers one, I'm quite lucky that I took a few days off, spent a few days there filming it. And with Cedar Point, we were there for 6 days, I think. Spent one day at Kings Island, another day doing some other stuff. But it meant that I could have 2 days completely enjoying myself, still have 3 days to wander around with the camera and think about what I'd done. And
this is why I kind of wanted to bring it up, because the way you shot it, it looked like I've kind of got this term in my head of completing Cedar Point, and it really felt like you, even just for yourself as much as for the the quality of the product that you put out on your channel, it really felt like you completed Cedar Point and it had such an effect on you. And I was looking forward to talking to you about that, because I feel like I've been to Cedar Point a few times. I've been like 3 times now, and I feel like I've completed it as well.
Yeah.
Like rubbing it in.
And like, stop making me lose my train of thought, man.
Completing Cedar Point.
And I wanted to really just ask you about, like, or just chat to you about, like, how you feel about the fact that there's so much more at Cedar Point than just the coasters. Like there's obviously there's 17 coasters there, and there's world beaters and and all of that, but there's so much more that goes into the experience of it, like and you see it all within like the I forget the name of the Cedar Point Museum, and everything that's like they've decorated the history throughout the entire park, but that museum in general. And then, like, I just want you to speak on that, because that had such a profound effect on me, just really engrossing myself in everything that Cedar Point has, not just the coasters.
No, I appreciate things you and Sean said. Actually, it's kind of, don't want to get too emotional, but it does mean a lot for you guys to say that stuff, because, like, a lot goes into some of those things. You're never quite sure if people like it, and with that one, I feel like actually we actually made something quite decent on this occasion, and you should go and check it out.
Yeah, definitely go and check it out.
Definitely
Make sure you
check it
subscribe
out.
as well.
But a couple
description.
of things what you said. I mean, there's essentially a farm in the middle of Cedar Point. You've got some of the best.
Yeah, there is.
Arguably 3 of the best roller coasters in the world within 2-3 minute walk of each other, and then you turn left and walk 100 yards, and you can be playing with turkeys,
pet an alpaca.
And alpacas, because like going under Millennium Falls.
I'm not even joking.
That's quite bizarre, really. But also, the main thing I talked to you about is the museum. And obviously, your park has to be a certain age, or some significant history must be there. But why don't more parks do that?
Why didn't our parks do it? Because we have a lot of history.
Yeah.
In the dome in Thorpe
Towers
Park.
have so much that they could show off.
Imagine being in
Well, they are doing.
sorry again.
I mean, Pleasure Beach. I mean, why that hasn't got?
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Even to the point where just have one table somewhere with just an old map and a few facts. Because as you said, there's this museum at Cedar Point, which I ended up using quite a big segment, actually, the documentary of kind of Ryan walking around there.
I love that museum.
It's
It's so nice.
Yeah, it's just, and we look at some of the things in there, and you could have done the whole documentary from that museum.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe, like, just from Alton Towers' point of view, like when I went, when I did the Scarefast advert with them, I went into like the staff entrance, Like they have so much memorabilia, like everywhere, like loads of like Oblivion stuff, like opening day stuff everywhere on the walls. Like, can we just have this in a museum, please? Like, can we just have it in a museum?
You sound like Indiana Jones. It belongs in the museum.
I love that. Yeah,
I love nostalgia, but no, Thorpe's the same. There's like these sheds at Thorpe, and you're you know, I've been lucky enough just to stick my head in and have a look around a couple of times. You're like, whoa, God. Why don't you do something with that? But maybe more parks will in the future. I don't know. But that is one of the coolest things about Cedar Point. But the whole vibe there is wicked. I don't know if it makes a difference. Parks that open a bit later, most nights of the week it's open. I think certainly the weekends it's open until about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We were staying lucky enough to be, trip of a lifetime. Spent more money than I have cared to mention on that trip. Stayed in Hotel Breakers, but even that, like just the vibe of being on that beach. And actually, to be honest, in hindsight, that meant a bit more to me when I got back and learned even more about the peninsula.
Yeah.
How Cedar Point originally nearly went bankrupt on 2 or 3 occasions, actually.
Wow.
Like a massive, initially it was a big success. Oh, let's go to Cedar Point and ride, one roller coaster, leap the dips at the time. They started to lose money. And if it wasn't for, the new owners came in who were effectively going to level it all and buy houses. And they just thought, almost as a bit of a novelty, let's just, for 12 months or so, let's build a couple of rides and see what happens before we start demolishing everything and building houses. And that's effectively how it became what it is today. And it's just, again, it comes down to those little decisions, doesn't it? And a lot of these parks are full of it. When we talked a lot about Portland's Park earlier, and I can't remember all of it off the top of my head, but one of the first vlogs I did was about Portland's Park, and I remember putting in some crazy history. That place goes back a long time. The Mancy family, and obviously Lawrence you mentioned, I think comes from that family. There's always something going on. I'm a great believer in the power of nostalgia. You'll never see me doing Kieran Adams or the Silkstones, as we called them earlier. You'll never see those quick cuts and really cool stuff. So I'm a bit off brand sometimes for some. I love what I do. I think it's important that we look back as much as we look forward, I guess.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
It's lovely. I love, because I've worked in marketing most of my life, to watch theme park marketing campaigns and be able to work some of them, find ways to work some of those old adverts, which I think I've done in most of these documentaries now. I'll get a real kick out of that. Finding some of those old ads, whether I remember, some of them I remember, some of them I don't.
Yeah.
Things I've never seen before. I love it. Absolutely love it. If people enjoy them, then I'll keep making them, I guess.
It's funny because like how you said about the Alton Towers one, where you when you were younger and you went home, I want to make a documentary on Alton Towers. I remember after I did, same with me really. Like I always loved the Alton Towers adverts for the rides. Like when I was younger, like I used to see them. I remember them being on like even like VHS, the start of VHS tapes and stuff, adverts for Alton Towers. And when I told my mum, like I'd made this advert for Alton Towers,
Which is brilliant, by the way.
What's that?
Which is brilliant, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Cheers, man. But it was just like my mum went, "Oh my God," she was like, "You've always said you wanted to do that." And I was like, "Really?" Like I knew in my head I had, but I didn't realize.
You hear it out loud.
I was like, I want to make these adverts. Like, almost there with it, sort of thing. But
That's one question I never asked John. Like, did he ever have any sign off or involvement in that stuff? Because those adverts wouldn't be as cool as they were. Some of the older ones wouldn't be as cool as they were if the ride.
Especially not the Nemesis ones.
Especially Nemesis. Exactly what I was going to say. So you do wonder whether how much, I know at times he held different positions, whether he had oversight of that or not. He probably did on some of those.
Yeah, I feel like if he's like drinking like whiskey or whatever it was in the office with.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I'm sure. I bet he had a lot of leeway with it, because it's like even just watching like when you watch like the Oblivion advert for the time, it's so technically like advanced. Some of the shots they have in that, like it's insane. Like they, a park like Alton Towers was making adverts like that even back then. Like it's crazy, really. And I love seeing the behind the scenes of the especially the Oblivion one. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. There is some footage online.
Yeah.
Green screen, them all sitting on an Oblivion car behind a green screen in the studio. It's very weird.
I've seen that as well. It looked really cool.
It's cool. You know what I really like now about this community over the years, and with YouTube especially, like there's a vault out there for if you reach out to somebody, you want to make a film or you want to do something on a ride that's from the past. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Like and just say, you know, can we use this footage? Because that's how these things are made, and that's how like new connections are made. And if you guys are new into YouTube and you're worried about reaching out to other content creators, just do it, man. Just you know, I've had people message me a few times. I'm like, yeah, sure, go for it. You know, it's one of them. But like yourself, Adam, I've reached out to you about using some of your footage from your John Wardley stuff, and it's like, honestly, it's great. And now it's becoming like this museum of theme parks. Like YouTube is becoming like this corner of the internet where you can go and watch the old Mine Train adverts and watch the old, you know, Nemesis adverts and stuff. And it's something Sam does really well with Expedition Theme Park. Like, really well.
Yeah. I was just wanted to say, like, what you're saying there, Luke, was when I started my channel, it like properly started my channel in lockdown. I had like 10, 15 subscribers, and I kept messaging people to if I could use the footage. And like Adam was like literally one of about 20 people who even got back to me. So thanks for that, Adam. It goes to show like what a nice guy you are, because no one else everyone just left me on red. It's ridiculous. I think you, Digital Dan, and Theme Park Family Worldwide let me use footage. So yeah, it's like you say, Luke, it's just, you may as just go out there and ask people. And there will be some nice people.
I don't have a particularly big or popular channel. It kind of is what it is. People get something out of some of the documentaries I've made. But
I love them. Like, I absolutely love them.
It's just lovely. You know, if I had 1 million subscribers, I'll be doing even more to promote everyone's channels, because I just love the collaboration element of it. And I think when I started, I didn't actually, be honest with you, I didn't see much of that stuff going on.
That probably wasn't, because there probably wasn't each
other and putting in, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I feel like, you know, if I've managed to add anything, it's kind of maybe a little bit of stuff like that, which is a nice thing to do. And I
think it's kind of just a thing that's, you know, been cultivated over time, and now especially with I mentioned, I think it was the episode we had Kieran on where I mentioned it before, with just the increasing amount of work that content creators are doing directly with parks as well. It's only bolstering how much content creators work with each other and, you know, feel like they can reach out to, you know, other content creators as well as industry heads to do any kind of work, not even just like create content for their channels, but like to do any kind of work. You know, you got the likes of Arch Nemesis doing musical work with Nick Hudson now, and well, in recently I think it was. It's a very cool and just very, you know, warm and kind of melting pot of just people being able to express what they have talent in and are passionate about.
I think it's just so cool how, like, you touched on it earlier, Adam, where you said when you started finding all these people doing theme park content on YouTube, like it was just great. And to me, that was like years and years and years ago. That's because I didn't really go on all the Tower Times forums and things like that. I didn't really find them, but when I started finding things on YouTube or people, I was like, well, people actually vlogging parks, people do this. I was like, I thought I was just weird that like I just loved parks so much that I just I didn't realize there was like a massive community.
I mean, you're not the only one.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that for free.
So much different stuff. If you want to watch a documentary about theme parks, there'll be some in there. If you want to watch an all-out vlog of teenagers going around a theme park, it will be there. If you want to watch a vlog of where to take your little kid on rides that have got lower height limits or whatever, there'll be a vlog already there. And the other thing I've made, like, you know, proper actual friends. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people like count as mates, and we like to go on roller coasters together, but there's also people that I'd almost count as family now. There's people like Rob and Tina Jackson from Coastersaurus, and my kid, you know, loves Peter. They're really good friends, and we go out and have theme park days together. Same with Jordan and Ryan, and you know, there's been quite a few people where I've just ended up actually quite good friends with these people, and they've supported me, you know, through various challenges, if you like, with the channel or in life. Kind of what it's all about, really. But if I ever see any small new content creator, I've done it, you know, a lot of this I've had to do myself. Purposely done it that way, I suppose. Just sort of trusted myself to try and do it. And I know, and you guys know, what I love about your staff, Sean and Luke, is it's very consistent. And I think that's very key. Theme parks might be closed at the moment, everyone's having a rough time, but if you keep that consistency up, I think you will see some phenomenal results. Whether if that's something you're after, I think you'll get there anyway. But I'll just support anyone because I know how hard it is, and some people aren't always that nice, small minority. But I feel like I feel a bit more responsible now, building the channel to what it is. That if I do see someone up and coming, I'll do anything I can to support them.
Appreciate that.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I think
100%.
it kind of, when you can do that for people, that they do remember it, and then they'll want to do it for other people as well. Like, I mean, I get inbox daily, like, oh, can I use your footage? I'm like, yeah, use it, do what you want with it, and and that's because but if I think when I started and no one did that, I'd maybe, I'm not that type of person, but you can imagine some people being like, well, no one gave me their footage, so why would I do that? But if you just start off with that kind of mindset, it
has a ripple effect, doesn't it?
I think it does. It spreads through, definitely.
Good news, Sean, because I've already nicked loads of yours for the Chessington one, so
go for it, mate. Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. I always, let's talk about the rewind video you did as well.
Oh yeah. Thanks for
that was a fun thing to do. What's mad like that is there's like over 40 channels in that thing. And there were so many different ways I could have done that. I didn't know whether to make it more like theme park news and events throughout the year, but ended up just thought, you know what, I'll just make it about the enthusiasts and all the fun.
It was so surreal to see my face in something like that.
Hey, it was so weird. Me and Joe were talking about this whole thing. Like it's really weird how this time last year, I still now, I watch vlogs every day. I watch theme park documentaries. I watch anything to do with theme parks pretty much daily. And I was watching the rewind, and I was just like, I can't believe like we're featured in the video with all these different people we've been watching for ages. I was like, how weird is that? And it's not like, it's not like we're like, oh, we're starstruck or anything like that. It's just like when you watch some of these people, you're like, oh, it'd be pretty cool to meet these people one day. And we have met a lot of people now, like who we used to watch, and
because you spend so much time on the outside looking inward.
It feels like I'm part of like, it feels like you're part of a community now. It's just like it's a good feeling, really.
That's cool. I just thought it'd be a nice thing to do, and we're kind of already talking about next year's one and getting a few other collaborators involved, maybe some other people editing some sections of it and that sort of thing. But yeah, we'll definitely have another one, I think, next year. Maybe bring a bit more.
Yeah.
Next year, like people might have actually been to some more places. I know a few.
Maybe. Well, been locked inside.
Yeah, it's like it's not been the year everyone wanted to do. Everyone you've got on here for the last few months has got a story of a cancelled trip or something.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully this time next year, people have been to some more far out flung places, and it'll be an even more interesting little recap. But yeah, it was a fun thing to do. I quite enjoyed doing it.
We've all got some plans in the works, haven't we?
Yeah, we got some plans. Starting with Blackpool. So see you at Blackpool, guys. I guess.
Yeah, I've got my accommodation sorted. Can't wait.
I quietly got something on standby, but we'll see how it goes.
It'd be great if you could get out. Honestly, it would be really good.
Blackpool, Japan.
Yeah.
I can't afford to go to Japan, so it's going to be Blackpool. I
mean, yeah, what a cheap weekend away. I'd probably choose Blackpool over Japan any day.
No flights needed for Blackpool, so that's a win-win as well.
No. Right, well, is there anything else anybody wants to mention? Now's your chance. Go for it.
Krampus Expedition.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a...
Krampus.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So...
go for it, Joe?
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah. So I'm not too sure how you pronounce the name. I'm probably going to completely butcher it here, but I'm going to try it. Anyway, is it Nigloland, I think, or Nigloland in France?
I think it's Nigloland.
Is it Nigloland?
Don't quote me though. I'm not sure.
No, I'm not 100% myself. But basically, they're building this absolutely phenomenal looking Mack Rise water coaster. Phenomenal looking, more sort of the theming sort of side of it. Now the park already kind of has quite a sort of Christmas sort of feel around it anyway, seasonal festive feel. And this brand new water ride is going to basically be based around the idea of sort of going on an expedition to find the legendary Christmas demon Krampus himself. Now the park themselves actually dropped a teaser trailer for this, which is about 5 minutes long.
Wow. Really?
Yep, we shared it on TPI, and it does show basically a sort of brother and sister getting up, packing up, and basically going on this expedition into the middle of these big snowy mountains somewhere. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but it doesn't end up the way they kind of want it to do. And obviously, then that's when it sort of rolls title, comes up the ride name.
Does any theme park ride really?
No, it never does it? That's more of a Merlin thing. But regardless,
is it based around the Krampus like weird like
it's based
Yeah,
it
stealing?
is
the folklore of Krampus.
Yeah.
And if you look at the theme,
that's such a weird theme to choose for like a water.
Do you think that's such a cool idea though?
It's a cool idea.
I love that.
It is a cool idea, but
absolutely.
Yeah, it's mad, really.
And like all the pictures that I've seen of like the concept art and you know the construction that's going on, I love the idea of it. If they theme it properly and theme it well, which it looks like they are, judging by some of the pictures I've seen, I love the look of it. I love the idea, and I love the storyline it'll kind of take on.
It's got a really sort of solid looking like theming element to it as well. You know, like this big Krampus head. You kind of go down through that, dropping through his mouth and out the other side, which in itself will be. I mean, it's very sort of Tiger Rock-esque, but it's got that feel.
I was just about to say. So I was speaking to a couple of people earlier today about it, and they brought up a good point of. Okay, so I haven't been to Chessington yet, and so I won't have done Tiger Rock. But one thing they notice is that when you go down the drop before going through the massive tiger head, it's kind of like, obviously, like the one side of it has, you know, the tiger face on it, but the other side, when you're passing through it, is kind of bare, and it's like there's nothing really there. And they're kind of just saying that they hope that it won't kind of be the same kind of deal with nothing on one side. And then
imagine if Big Bob was like that. It's just like cut budget, just had like a bear.
Just a sad Bob.
Hollow.
Cardboard flames. Someone's there with like a little, you know, them handles. They meant eyes that used to move on Action Men, like the way you moved it. Someone's just there with them, just going. It's coming again.
You just see them counting it down. Just
the flames aren't on. Wait, Johnny's on his dinner. He'll be back in half an hour.
So I can't get. I know you're saying this theme is really cool, but it's like a Christmas theme on a water.
It feels lazy to me, I've got to be honest.
It feels a bit weird. I can't get my head around it. Like, I don't know how this is going to work, like, all year round when it's like Christmas themed.
I'm not sure if it's directly Christmas. I'm not really sure of the connection between Krampus and Christmas, though.
So Krampus is basically the anti-Santa Claus,
right?
He's the one that takes away the bad children, effectively.
Yeah. That's the legend behind it.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be, but mixed with a water ride. Like that's another thing. I'm like, okay, first of all, we're gonna do a Christmas.
But it's like folklore, isn't it? So like, I feel like it might go like in terms of the theme and the sort of design language of it is going more just like along the lines of an alpine sort of environment.
There's certainly no direct Christmas. There's no direct Christmas theme.
Maybe it's one of them things
no
where it's like
tree.
You know, like how there's a
lot
of
trees.
It's probably like how there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of Brothers Grimm stories we're not that familiar with over here. Like a lot darker ones. So maybe it's something like that where Krampus is like a lot more prevalent throughout like culture and stuff. So probably possibly is just that, really.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean,
kind of wouldn't make sense at all if it was like really Christmassy.
It almost seems
like some baubles everywhere.
It still gets me
lights,
though.
You know?
Like, one of our best themed attractions in the UK is themed on burning people. It's still.
I know.
And then the
it's a family
one.
attraction, so you know.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh yeah,
it speaks volumes about like our culture, doesn't it? How we have that style of ride, and then the other popular one is the Smiler, which is around like a mental like Orwellian hospital. You know what I mean?
We're an island race, and we're not scared to show it in our theme park rides.
Pretty much. Right, well, we've almost gone for 2 hours, which is insane.
Wow. Yeah,
that is crazy. Just a quick one.
We've only just got started. So.
Oh yeah, when we got started.
This is the pre-show.
Well, I mean, like we say to all our guests, Adam, if you ever want to come back on, dude, obviously the door's open. Anytime you want to come on.
We need to come back on and have maybe just a full-on theme park gaming episode from how the
that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. We can do that. But yeah, so we're going to end the podcast there, guys. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in for the first one and the second stream. And thank you for Adam.
Just want to say before we wrap it up, obviously, we've both been nominated for.
Oh, of course. We mentioned it. Go on, Sean. Go ahead.
I just want to say, for the people who like watching this, and if you have nominated us, thank you so much. We were both genuinely well surprised about it.
I can't believe it.
I didn't want to mention it because it didn't sound like a flex, but at the same time, it's even ruder not to mention it.
It's crazy. It's like I made a point earlier saying before we went live, I said to Joe last year, maybe next year, the idea of the channel was to try and grow it as much as we can, go on as many trips as we can, vlog as many things as we can. It turned into a lot of live streams and quite a little bit of vlogging, but what we did do, I hope we got out to everything that you guys wanted to see. I appreciate it. And to be nominated for, live content is just incredible. So thank you so much to everybody who's voted, nominated, and been involved. And if you haven't been involved, guys, you can vote, and the link will be in the video description when this video goes out. So
I just want to say as well, we didn't make shortlist, but regardless, we can runners up in 2 categories. And for that, to anybody that did vote for Theme Park Insanity, thank you so much, guys, because that genuinely means the world. It really does. So thank you.
Well done, mate.
Thank you so much, man.
But they're hard. They're pretty popular categories as well.
I know. I'm honestly, I'm truly honoured. So to everybody that did vote,
and
thank you
you've
so
never
much.
checked out Theme Park Insanity, go over to themeparkinsanity.co.uk and follow the social links.
Come say hi, guys.
Follow them on Facebook. Follow them all over the place. Make sure you check the website daily because new reviews and everything goes on daily as well.
There's something else going on in a bit as well. So there'll be a new article on very soon.
We keep forgetting about it, but Joe, we are 30 odd people off getting 1,000 people in the Keep You in the Loop group on Facebook.
We are literally that close. So if you know anybody, invite them.
Yeah, invite all your friends, guys. It's a fantastic community. We do post on there daily as well.
We do.
And there is a plan to try and do something with that group a bit more in the future as well, which is going to be awesome.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are off Facebook these days, but if you do want to join a group where it's really relaxed, everybody can share content. We don't have anything on that really.
No, we don't.
Yeah, the link's in the video description below. So join Keep You in the Loop group on Facebook. And just a quick one as well. On Sunday, me and Joe are going to be doing a little special, just talking about everything that we've been up to since literally this time last year, because I think it's the perfect time to do it. We went from literally having 4 people watching to, we've had 20 odd people watching this concurrently all the way through, which is just insane to even think we can just do this and people listen to it, enjoy it, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everything like that. It's crazy. So again, guys, from everyone at CoasterGen, not just me, so James as well, and everybody who helps with the page and with the website and everything, thank you so much for all the support that we've had. It means the absolute world that I can show you guys my passion for theme parks and roller coasters and gaming and everything, and you guys get involved. It's just, honestly, it's a dream come true. It really is. And I mean, we're not making any money on it or anything like that. We're just doing this because we want to do it. And
we also have an amazing community as well, which I really feel is starting to show through. You guys, really
absolutely
making it what it is. So for all the support you give, not only obviously CoasterGen, everybody, thank you so much, because you really are making the community the great community it is, and it's a testament to that. So there we go.
And keep creating YouTube channels and keep reaching out to content creators, because you never know, someone might say yes, they want to collaborate with you, and that could be the shining moment for you.
I'm going to start playing the Oscars music.
Do it. Do it. I don't care. Do it. I'm not bothered. Seriously.
we need some real emotional ass music.
I'm not bothered. Find it.
No, it's good.
Put it. Epidemic Sounds, guys. Get on there and get some music. But anyway, we're off. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Like we just said, make sure you subscribe to Sean at ParkSpill, and make sure you subscribe to Adam at Theme Park World Tour, and follow all the social medias. But for now, I've been Luke. He's been Sean from ParkSpill. He's been Mikhile. He's been Joe from Theme Park Insanity. He's been Adam from Theme Park World Tour, and we've been the CoasterGen Show. And we'll see you next time.